Hey guys, welcome back to part 17. Today we are going to go through these tasks. First I will fix a bug or error in the cart, and then I will install setup Stripe and continue with the checkout. So first I can begin with the decrement to 0 items error, because if I click minus here now, you'll see that I get an error here. And that is because when we do this, the information we get back from the backend isn't what we expect. So first we can go to cart.py and do some changes here. First you can see here that I say if product ID in self.cart. So we check that this product ID exists in the cart, but I have forgotten here to set this str around this. So this will always return 0 or none. So if I save now, just go back and test that plus is working. Yes, it is working, but minus is still not working. So in views.py, where we call this function, you can see here that we automatically use this, and that will not work when the product isn't in the cart. So here we need to do a few changes. First, move this to a separate line so we just get the product here. And now we can say if quantity, then quantity equals quantity, and then we get this property from this object. And then I can do this, and then at the bottom here we say else item equals none, and then this none will be returned down here into the template. So if I refresh now, click minus, okay, still get an error. Reverse for update cart is not working. Yes, and that's because we have another issue, and that is that this is still rendered, I think it is. So at the first line here we need to check that if item, so we check if this variable exists, then we render this, and if, so save, refresh, we try it again, and then it was removed and the price was also updated. So now everything there is working. So then I can go to the to-do list and set the first task to done. Next step then is to install and set up Stripe. So we can go to the command line, stop the web server and say pip3 install Stripe. Okay, as you can see here I already have this installed, but you need to run this command in order to continue. And then I can just run the server again so we have it running in the background. And then to set up this, we go into settings.py. And then I need to add two variables here. One called stripe underscore API key publishable. This is the API key that we are going to use on the website using JavaScript. And then stripe API key hidden. And this key is for the backend, which the user will not be able to access. So you need to create an account at stripe.com and get these there. Like that. So then I can save this, and then this is set up, and I can go back here and set this to done. Next step then is to make the public key, or this publishable key, available on the checkout page. So open up cart/views.py. And then in here, in this view, we need to access this. So here we can say pub key equals settings.stripe key, API key publishable. So we can use it in the front end. Also need to make this available like this. And as you can see here, I get an error now because we have not imported settings. So scroll to the top and say from Django.conf import settings. So then we can use the variables from that file and save. So now that publishable key is available, so we can actually set this to done. The next step then is to create a new view where we're going to make it possible to create a checkout session. And in this checkout session we create a new order, and we also talk to Stripe with the backend and set up a checkout and similar. And this will be called using JavaScript and using fetch. So let's go to order/views.py and create it there. So we already have the start order, but I want to do a few changes here. First, I want to get information from the front end by saying data equals json.loads request.body. And then, as you can see here, I need to import JSON. We can also import Stripe, so that's done. And I also need to make it possible to access a few things from the settings file. So from django.conf import settings, like that. And then here we loop through the items in the cart and similar, but I'm just going to continue up here because we need to do a few changes. So add one more variable, total price, which is the total price for the whole cart, which we're going to send in to Stripe and also keep it later for ourselves. Then I need to declare a few things that we're going to need to send to Stripe in order for this to work. So I'm going to create a new list, items, make it just empty. And then we need to loop through the items in the cart. So copy this line and paste it up here. We also need to get the product, so I can copy this line as well. And then we can say total price, which is this variable, plus equals item product, sorry, I can just say plus equals product.price, this product here, multiply it with item quantity. Just want to convert this to an integer just to be totally sure that everything will be working here, like that. And then I want to set up a dictionary which are going to append to this list. So obj for object, make it a dictionary. Then price data, this is information that Stripe expects from us. Currency, I'm just going to use USD here for US dollars. Product data, this is information about the product just so we can show it on the invoice for the clients. Name product.name. And unit amount, this is the product price and not the total price. So product.price, this is expected to be in cents, that's why I have this in an integer field. And then below price data we can pass in quantity, item quantity, like that. And then below here we can say items.append obj. And then when we are looped through this, I want to create a session. So we just create a new session, empty variable, and also payment intent, which is some information we get from Stripe. And then to talk with Stripe is a stripe.api key equals settings.stripe API key hidden. So now this is the hidden key from the settings file, this one. So you can see here SK for secret key and PK for publishable key. And then we need to also set up the session. So session equals, actually I don't need to set this to be empty like that, it can be like this. Session equals stripe.checkout.session.create, create a tuple. I'm going to say payment method types, and I only want to support card here, like that. And then we need to say line items, which is the information we set up here. So these items. Mode is payment. I'm not sure what else you can choose here, maybe subscription. And then success URL equals http://127, which is my Django address locally on my Mac. Cart/success, this is the page you will be redirected to if it's a success. And if the payment is cancelled, you will be redirected back to this page. Then I just want to send you to the cart page, like that. Then I can also set payment intent equals session dot payment intent. So this is an ID we get from Stripe when everything is okay. So I don't need to declare this empty there either. And when that's done, I need to get this from the form, which is not going to be a post form anymore, because now we're going to use request.data. So if I now just replace all of these with request.data and set this to be a list and not a tuple, like that. So now we have that information available for us again, and we can continue by creating this order below here. So it's just the same because we still get this information in the variables here. And then we can say order.payment intent equals this variable here. Whoops. Sorry. This variable, and order.paid amount equals total price. Order.paid equals true. Then just order.save. Because what happens now is that if this fails, it will get an error and this will not be executed. So then I can remove this, and then we need to loop through the items in the cart again. And here I want the product, I want the quantity and the price. And then we create a new order item for each of the items. And then I can just here say return JSON response session and order, sorry, this should be payment intent. So this will need to be imported first. Okay, I have already done it here, I see. Like that, from Django.http import JSON response. So when we call this function, this will be returned and we can talk to Stripe and get the payment from there. So now this should be done, and I can go to the to-do list and set this to done. So then we need to do some JavaScript in the front end, because we need to validate the checkout form and implement Stripe in the front end as well. So the first thing I want to do then is to open up base.html and add one more block here. So below this Htmx as a block script, so we can include JavaScript here and block and close it. So make a copy of this and open up checkout.html. And then at the bottom here we can use this. So first I can include Stripe here, script type application / JavaScript, and source is https://js.stripe.com/v3/ and close that script tag. And then in here we can create one more script tag for some JavaScript. I want one function for validating the form. Function validate form. Here I need to pass in the data. Come back to this soon. And I want one function which is going to be called when I click this button here. So function by. Here you pass in the event. And I also want to call event.prevent default, so the form isn't submitted. Prevent default and return false, so we know that this isn't going to continue and send information to the backend. And then to call this by function, we need to add one property to this button on click, and by pass in the event here, like that. And I think I can just remove the form tag and then indent these two and remove these two. and save. So if I now go back to the checkout page, refresh, everything here is okay, checkout, fill in this information, phone number, and then confirm checkout. Okay, as you can see, nothing happens. That's okay, because nothing should happen right now. So then we can go down to the buy function, and we can create a new object with information from the form. So let data equals, make it an object, first name, document dot query selector, put in name equals first name, sorry, a little bit different, input, like that. So now this will find an input element with a name of first name dot value. So copy this, replace with last name and last name, one for the email, one for the phone, one for the address, one for the zip code, and one for the place. So now we have information here with all of the information from the form, and then we can validate this by saying let errors, so we get these back from this function up here, equals validate form, and now we just pass in the data array. So up here I want to loop through each of these and check if they are filled out. So create a new local variable here, errors, make it an empty list. Now we can say if data.firstName equals empty, then I want to append errors.push first name is empty. Then we can copy this and replace this with last name, and then one for the email, and the phone, take 2 and 2 now, so one for the address, the zip code, and last but not least the place. So data.place, and place is empty. And then we can just return this list, return errors, and save. So below here we can say console.log errors, so we can just see that this is working. So just refresh, click confirm checkout, phone is missing, address is missing, zip code is missing, and place is missing, or empty. So then we know that that is working. So here we can say if errors.length, then we know that there are errors. Then we can say console.log errors, so we see them there. And if they are not, if the length is 0, then we go into this else, and then we can call stripe. So var stripe equals stripe. So we call this information from this script we included there. And then here we pass in pub key, which we made available a few tasks ago. And then here we can say fetch. This is a function built into every browser, which are used to post information, get information, and similar. So here I need to add the URL to order/start order, which is the URL to the page we created this function here, the start order. So then go to the next line, comma, make this method post, and the headers needs to be set here. You need to set the content-type to application/JSON, because that's the only format they accept. X CSRF token. This is for our backend. And here we pass in the CSRF token. Like that. And we also need to set the credentials to same origin. And body is json.stringify data, which is this object here. So now we stringify this to JSON and send it to the backend. Add a parenthesis there. And then we get something back. So then we can say .then function response. And this should say return response.json. Just to simplify this a little bit. And when that's done, we can say .then function session. So this session here now points to this variable there. So if everything is okay, we should go into this here. Now we can say return stripe.redirect to checkout. And then we pass in session ID to session.session.id. So if everything there is okay, then we will go back and go to the next function, .then function result. And here we can check if there are any errors. So if result.error, then we say alert error.message. Sorry, this was supposed to be result.error.message. And we also need to add the .catcher if there are other errors. Function error. And you can just console log this, console.log errors, error, like that. So now when we click this buy function or buy button up here, we will call this, get the data from the form, validate it, and if everything is okay, we call Stripe with the publishable key. Now we use fetch to post information to this view, which will talk to Stripe here and handle the payment. So hopefully everything there should be okay now, so we can actually go and try this out. So refresh, confirm checkout, and we see that these are missing, so let's fill them out. And a phone number, confirm checkout. Okay, I got an error from the backend. WSGI request object has no attribute data. Okay, so I did something wrong. Yes, the problem here is that up here we get the information from the body, and then I say request.data here, and that is not correct. This should just be data like that. So go back and just click confirm checkout again. And now everything there went away, and I was redirected to the checkout page for Stripe, quantity 2, brown leather sofa. Then I can just fill in something here. We use 42, 42, 42, 42. Use month and date in the future and CVC 123. This will make it possible to use the test mode, as you can see here. So if I click pay now, everything should hopefully be okay, and I should be redirected back to cart/success. Okay, everything is okay. And yes, this page does not exist yet, but that will be fixed in the next part. But everything here should still be okay. If I go back here now, the cart is still filled out, but that will also be taken care of in the next part. So now I can set this to done. And then that was it for this part. I hope you liked it, and if you did, please hit like below. Share the video with your friends, and also come back and see the next part. See you in the next video.